Well, I mean, it's still weird for me to see this program in a position where you have games where you're supposed to win. And is it weird for you to be in that position where, you have to fend off an upset?
Well, I think that's I wouldn't call it a problem, but it's a good thing. And I think we've both been around this program long enough to remember that, hey, we got some really good players in this program. And, I always say student athletes in our program and at Service Academy, they compete and they play because they want to. And I think this program means a lot to especially our seniors. Okay, and I mean, I can't say enough. It's just fun watching Milani and, having seen the growth that Emily Adams has made this year. And, but hey, we expect to win those games. And that's when your program's, going in the right direction.
As teams kind of start to sort themselves out, you guys are clearly above the bottom part. Now you get a chance to go play some road games and see how high you can climb. Like how important do you think it is to kind of establish that before you hit, the tournament?
Well, I mean, you want to have great momentum going into the Mountain West Conference tournament, and we know we've got some tough games coming up, and a long road trip this week. But you just got to take one game at a time. We know that Boise State, New Mexico, those are great teams, and I think we're on to something by keeping that pressure on, and I think that's something we have to keep doing.
Where do you feel like you can still improve?
I think every team is going to present different challenges, and regardless of those adjustments, and we saw what San Jose State did with their defense tonight. I think just realizing just why we win basketball games, right? And I think just keeping that pressure up. I mean, we're always looking to a Milani Perry and all these other kids too. I mean, Keeley had a great game, okay, and Jada McNabb, and just the fact that everybody's contributing.
And how much pride do you take in Milani's ascension on this record? Because obviously, I assume you recruited her and probably helped keep her, because I know she had some homesickness, like as you see this, like, just as someone who's overseen all of that.
Well, I just think that speaks to who she is. And, I love seeing her family here on a regular basis this her senior year, and they've been here her entire 4 years supporting her. And that's probably an agreement they had with her when she left home, is that, we're always going to be there. And when I say it just speaks to who she is, just, a young person. I think the growth and the maturity to be able to make a decision to come to the Air Force Academy says a lot about not just who they are, but where they want to go. So, not only has she done great things on the court, she's also going to do great things when she leaves the Air Force Academy.
And is there something lately that's allowed her to even take that scoring to a little bit different level?
Well, I think we all know she's been doing it right for quite some time. And I think the margin just gets smaller and smaller. I mean, she's about 76 points away from, not just the Division I record, but 1 and 2. And there aren't a lot of players that can do that. And, we love the, great scoring ability. I was just talking to her a few minutes ago just about, how she was up on defense the entire time that she was out there. I mean, she's 35 minutes tonight. So not just doing it on one end, but she did it on both ends.
Well, first of all, from the team perspective, you've clearly separated yourself from the bottom of the pack. Now you get to go play some teams near the top. Like, how exciting is it to kind of see where you might be able to stack here over the last month of the season?
It's very exciting, especially because we've always knew the potential that we had, and so the fact that it's actually translating out into the court, it really helps us, gives us the confidence we need, and we know how we can play, and so we're going to go do that just moving forward.
Yeah, and you just heard me talking to Coach. You passed another name on the list. Like, how much fun is this to kind of be picking off these names that have been around here for so long?
It truly is a blessing. I don't really think about it, but just the fact that I am able to do that, it's such a blessing, and I'm very grateful.
We talked maybe last year, a couple years ago, about, your early struggles here, not on the court, but just kind of, deciding if this was where you wanted to stay. Like, has this gone as good as you could imagine, from that point to now?
Absolutely. I feel like I've had a very good time here. I had faced some struggles. There were challenges, but that's what you get here. But ultimately, I'm very happy that I did stay and just made it to senior year.
And has anything changed over the past few games in terms of just more of a green light? I can't imagine there was ever not a green light for you, but like the numbers have even ticked up from what your standard is. Like, is there something behind that?
I think the trust has always been there. It's just been more making adjustments and just the game plan going into each game. And so everyone has their strengths and just using each other's strengths to the best of our abilities. If someone's hot that game, then, trust them with the ball. And we just kind of adapt to each game.
And, as you do look at the conference and kind of where you guys sit, like, where do you guys still need to get better in order to, to establish yourself a little?
I think we take a lot of pride in our defense. We still struggle sometimes with our communication and just boxing out. So cleaning up the little things, I feel like we can go very far and just be the team I know we can be.
Big picture, you guys have clearly separated yourself from the bottom of the Mountain West. Now you get to go play some of the better teams. And, like, how important is it to you to kind of make some headway there, before the season ends?
Yeah, for sure. I think really it's ultimately just all about getting ready for the tournament and proving to ourselves that we can play with these top conference teams, and just when the time comes when we play them in the tournament that we'll be ready and we know we can beat them.
And then also, just playing on the road as well. That's another thing you guys need to kind of cross off the list. Like, where and how can you improve in that area?
I think it comes down to focus and just being ready to play every game, just like clean slate every time. Doesn't matter if it's home or away, but we have had a few dips on the road, and I think especially the last Nevada game was unfortunate for us, and we really should have won that game, and we just didn't come out strong. So just really starting strong when we're on the road.
And what was the mindset today, as you guys get down early, and was there ever a waver in confidence, or are you at that point now where you kind of know, hey, just be us? Like,
I trust fully in every single person on our team, and I believe that we have the people that can make comebacks and we can work together, that when we get down 11-2 or whatever it was at the beginning of the game, we can take a moment and go, okay, we're good. Let's move forward. Let's just be us and do what we can do. And we proved that to ourselves tonight.
okay. And then, Milani went to number 3 today on the scoring list. Like, you've seen pretty much most of her career. Like, what stands out to you when you think about her specifically as a scorer?
I mean, it's going to be hard without her next year, for sure, just because of the fact that she is that go-to person who can just go get a bucket pretty much whenever. I mean, they had 2 people guarding her today, so and she still, has 20 points. So she's just able to create in any situation and then also create for her teammates when she's taken away. So I think that's just her main thing, is that she can just go get a bucket. Like, that's her main thing as a scorer, and I think it's really impressive to watch.